right, welcome back to Good Morning Washington at 8:42. It seems everywhere we look, women and men are finding their prince charming, but you might be thinking, all you seem to find are frogs. If that's your situation, Lisa Lieberman-Wang is here, and she believes most men are princes. It's us who turn them into frogs. She joins us this morning to explain and talk about her book, Fine to Fab. Welcome. Super excited to talk to you about this.
Yeah, it's a great topic. You know, I've been working with women for so many years. They come to me with poor body image challenges, self-esteem, or maybe even the lack of self-love. And their biggest frustration is about the men. It's like it's their fault.
Right.
Right? So they think that every man is a frog. And I actually believe that most women are turning the princes into frogs.
Okay, we're going to run down some steps. So if you've had some problems in the dating world, you may be making a few of these mistakes, or you may be making all of them, and Lisa's going to try to help change that for us right now. So starting with taking things personally, it's not always about you.
Yes, a lot of times we take things personally, as if, you know, say a beautiful woman walks by and the man automatically turns his head. And then you say, oh my God, he's looking at beautiful women. He doesn't think I'm beautiful. I'm not good enough. There's something wrong with me. Instead of saying, oh my God, he's a man.
Right.
He's not a woman. And a lot of times women think that men are hairy women, hairy girlfriends. And they treat them that way. My grandmother used to say, when they stop looking, they're dead. So my husband's usually looking at the women. I'm going, good, he's not dead.
Exactly.
And then you say, look, but don't touch, right? So as long as they're not touching, there's nothing wrong.
Well, and I always tell my girlfriends, I'm like, look, he could look at somebody all day long. Still, when you come into the bedroom and stand there, and he's not going to be like, sorry, I've had enough of women today. No, you know, he's going to love you just the way he's supposed to. Okay,
absolutely.
Reading into words, I love this one. Take men literally. They mean what they say.
Without a doubt. See, what happens when women say something like, oh, it's not important, then you know it's really important, because that's what they do. So women think, again, men are hairy women. But what happens is when they say something like, I'm not looking for marriage, that one woman might say, oh, I'm going to change him.
Right.
I'm going to get him to be interested in marriage. Or I don't have time. And they'll start thinking, well, I'm special. He'll make time for me.
Right.
So we have to really take them literally. Men do mean what they say.
And believe them the first time.
Yes, yes.
On the first date.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's the mistake most people do. They meet somebody, they think, oh, this guy is great. I'm going to change him. I'm going to make him love me. And it doesn't work that way. And then you get angry at them. And that's an example of turning a prince into a frog, because they're going to resent you.
Right. Explain this one to me. Number 3, expecting his time to be yours.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times men don't want to get committed because they're afraid if they do that the woman's going to actually monopolize their time. And the woman say, no, they won't. But you know what? It's innate within us. We do it unconsciously. We're not doing it on purpose. But what happens is men might actually have things they need to do if they're on a mission for their future career, or if they need a downtime. Women might turn around and say, well, you know, why isn't he spending time with me? He's choosing this above me, but he's not. He's choosing what he needs to do to refuel so he can be there for you.
Interrupting him when talking, is this a mistake that women make a lot?
A lot? You kidding? How many women? Women speak more than men, right? But we do. We interrupt men while they're talking, and 2 things happen. One is if you do it often enough, they're not going to want to talk to you anymore, because they're going to feel like, why even bother? You're putting words in their mouth. The other thing is that they actually feel disrespected or annoyed, like you're not paying attention to them. So I always want women to know, put an imaginary muzzle on your face and just stay there, be quiet, smile, wait until they're done, and then you're going to find you're going to have a better relationship. There's one more thing I want to share, kid. They actually also have a challenge when they ask questions. So if I ask you a question, you might not respond as quickly as I want you to, so I'm going to go over there and think, you're not very smart. Maybe I need to rephrase it. He didn't understand the question. So you start asking different questions, and before you know it, you asked him so many questions, the whole point was lost.
He doesn't know what to say.
He doesn't know what to say. And it's like, doesn't say anything, or you have an argument about something that it wasn't even about. It's so common.
And you said this at the beginning. Remember that they're a man and treat them like a man.
Yes,
so
yes.
Don't expect a man to multitask.
Oh my God.
It's not in our DNA, folks.
That's exactly right. It's not in your DNA. Women were born with diffused awareness. Like, we can take care of everything.
They run the households. They're the CEOs. They can do all of that.
Everything, you know. And the piece is that we think men can can do the same thing, but they're monofocused. They can only do one thing at a time, but they do it really well. And we expect them to be able to do what we do. And if they were, again, they'd be girls.
Right. Believing a man is ignoring you.
You know what's so great about that? Because I just said they're monofocused. A lot of times men might be in the middle of doing something, or they're even out with their friends, or they're at work and they're not calling you, checking in with you, and you say, oh, they're ignoring me. They don't think I'm important. No, it's not that they're ignoring you. They only do one thing at a time, and they're present in that moment. What a gift they have, right?
Correct.
And women don't have that gift. So we think they're not thinking about us. They must not think we're important. There's something wrong with us. And then their girlfriends say, see, he's ignoring you.
Yeah.
And then it makes it even worse.
No, we can sit on the couch. That's why we can sit on the couch for 4 hours on a Saturday and watch football, not worry about anything.
Yes.
And then this one is, I think, really important. I hear this from my guy friends. They'll say, I feel like I can never win with her.
This is one of the biggest ones, and people don't get it. See, men need to win. And if they don't win, they say, why bother? So a lot of women come to me, they're either on the verge of divorce or in unhappy relationships or want to be in a relationship, but they hate men. And they're not happy with themselves. And then this man's trying to do everything in their power to make her happy, and he can't win. So he's like, why bother? So they end up being lonely, old maids is what ends up happening, because then they end up losing the guy and saying, oh, see, he wasn't any good. No, they need to win. You need to learn to fly, which is first love yourself. Because if you love yourself, anything he does is a bonus. Now he's going to be like, oh my God, I smiled and it made her happy. I showed up and it made her happy. Like I didn't have to do anything to make her happy. So it actually changes relationships. So we can stop turning our princes into frogs by just appreciating them for who they are.
They're not all bad guys. Appreciate them for who they are. Believe them the first time when they tell you who they are. There's some duds out there, absolutely, but there's also a lot of good guys. All right, talk about your book real quickly and where people can find to Fab.
You can find to Fab online. On anywhere you look, it's there. So we'll look forward to hearing from you. Learn more how you can go from feeling fine to being fab.
Lisa, I love it. Thank you so much for your time. Great stuff. Great advice, and hopefully it helps you out with some dating stuff too.